Hey, and welcome to For Feck's Sake Marketing Adventures with Carol, where we share tips, tricks, and insights to help you in business and how to market your business. And we also bring you some amazing people that I interview. For today, I'm on my own because I had a conversation with somebody the other day about different books. You know, what's the best book to read for business? What's the best book to read for marketing? What's the best book to read for lots of different things? And we had a big discussion about one of the best books that I've ever read that goes across both marketing and business, and of course, your personal life too. Because what happens is that we're quite often taught to be a certain way. So what I mean by that is that we're brought up and we work very hard at actually trying to, build our work ethic, and we're trying to arrive on time to get our wages and all of that sort of thing. So that is a different self. So I'd like to introduce the book that I'm talking about, and I'll explain how it has helped me so much. Now, I'm giving you my dog-eared, my highlighted. As you can see, it's a well-used book. And it's from, it's called Embracing Ourselves, and it's by Hal and Sidra Stone. So you can get it on Amazon, you can get it a few other places. If you're lucky, you can get it in a bookshop, which is rare. I'll put the link in the comments as well to make sure that you can get that there. There seems to be some trouble going live in LinkedIn. I'll put it into the comments now, so hopefully you can see that too if you're live with me. So the reason that this book has been brilliant and such a great help to me is, let me to go back a little bit. So when you start to actually with your own business, or maybe you're still in a job and you've got a bit of a side hustle, quite often you're going, hang on, why am I getting so overwhelmed? Why am I getting busy there? Do I go in flow sometimes, and in other times no, I just can't seem to get motivated. I can't get the energy. So what this book talks about, when it talks about embracing the selves, is it's from a modality called voice dialogue. So the premise of it is, so all good things that come about the personality or profiling comes from Carl Jung's work. And Carl Jung's work talked about how we had different selves within ourselves, so different traits, different personalities. But this book goes even deeper into the different selves that we have and the different selves that we present. Let me give you an example. So for me, the worker self was very much a very well in place person. That was, I knew what to do to be a worker self. You had to work hard. There's also the pusher, that self that pushes you all the time to do the things you want to do, or maybe don't even want to do. We also have an inner critic. So you'll have heard this before about, that inner critic voice. Well, that's another self, if you like. And then we also have the inner motivator. We would have the procrastinator part of ourselves. So it's like all these different parts. And I like to think of it as a choir or an orchestra. There's like all the different parts, and they all have a reason to be there. They all need to be in that choir, but they don't all need to sing or shout at the same time, but they all have their place. What happens is, however, that we don't develop the parts of us that actually need to help us in business. So for example, the opportunity self. So how do you develop that opportunity self? Also about your entrepreneur self, or maybe it's the enterprise self. Where, as I say, we have these overdeveloped other areas. So my worker self would have had muscles on muscles on muscles on muscles. But my entrepreneur self wasn't that well developed. So this book was vital in me understanding what self was at work. And more than that, understanding what self I needed to develop to change and do the things that I wanted to do. It's such an easy read too. As I said, it's so dog-eared here. Now, I also think, personal opinion, the ego gets a bad rap. We hear people say, oh, that person has a big ego, a small ego, they need to drop their ego. So what actually needs to happen is, Sorry, I'm getting messages here, something about LinkedIn, but that's okay. What happens is that our ego is just another self, but it's kind of like the CEO of the cells. So again, going back to that metaphor of it being in a choir or in an orchestra, it's kind of like the conductor. So that ego self's job. So each self has a job. It has a job description. It has KPIs, if you like. So the ego's job, if you like, its KPIs is to keep you safe. That's the only job of the ego. But that conductor may bring in procrastination, it may bring in a little bit of critic, it may bring in whatever it is to stop you being safe. So how that works is, so, you maybe are taking a new step or you're doing something new and you get that inner voice that kind of goes, oh my God, what are you doing? It might not work. Are you stupid? Don't do it. All of this sort of thing. They're just different cells at work. What I discovered was that some of them are a little bit more primary, and that's what this book talks about, the primary self. So they're the ones that we can easily identify. But there's also what we call disowned selves, and this was key for me in my development, and people that I've spoken to, some of my clients, they've got this huge aha moment from this. So a disowned self is something, how you'd recognize it is quite often how you get triggered by stuff. So mine was the victim self. So the victim self has a job. Its job is what? To carry the story. That's the only job. What happens is we get stuck and we stay in victim. For me personally, was that I had done through some life experience. I'm not a victim. I've been over stuff. I've got over it. So I had a reject of that victimhood, if you like, that victim self. So when I would be faced with somebody who was more of a victim, or what I perceive to be showing me their victim self, I would be triggered by it big time. I would be recoiled by it. So that was a disowned self. And what that is, everything is a mirror to you. It just gives you some insight into maybe some unresolved or something that you need to accept or change or work on or whatever that is. But in business growth, in personal growth, this is, and it's the one I refer back to all the time. I'm pretty sure if any of my clients that I've ever worked with are watching this right now, they go, yes, 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 Carol, we know, we've heard about that book. It is number one, hands up, the best book I have ever read. And I'm very excited to share it with you guys as well, because I thought, why not? I keep talking about it, the same thing over and over and over again. To the extent, one of the things I've done is an exercise, is I've written down the self I want to develop. Then I have written down what the KPIs would be, what the image would be of that self, and you start being it. Also, key phrases. So my worker self, for example, the key phrase is just start, just do it, just get it done. So I know to get into that frame of mind, to get stuff done, I just need to start saying those things to me. I need to stand in a certain way or dress in a certain way, and I can get that energy like that. So it's really effective in getting you into flow and getting you to achieve the stuff that you say you want to achieve. So I just wanted to share that one with you guys. Embracing ourselves, as I said, as you can see, well dog-eared, well highlighted. But I highly recommend this. So as I said, I'll put the link down below into the comments. If you want your own copy, hop on Amazon and get that. You might even get it in time for Christmas. So any other questions about it, please ask me. It is an amazing book. But if you're not sure and you're sitting on the shelf and you're thinking maybe not, just ask me. I'm happy to answer those questions. But for now, it's bye from me.